Hello listeners, and welcome to another week on Chasm Converses. This week, I host the Scrimcast with my good friend Sam Upton, who makes his second appearance on the show. We released a new song recently under the name Scrimmage, called LATTE, which relates to the troubles and the struggles that we face working as baristas. The song is out now for you to hear on Spotify and the video to watch on YouTube, but in this episode, we talk about coming up with the idea for Scrimmage, some behind the scenes facts on making the video, and some of our own coffee making struggle stories come to light. Join us and let's get conversing. Chasm Converses. Welcome to the first Scrimcast here on Chasm Converses. So I am joined by my very good friend Sam Upton, who is making his second appearance on the podcast, which is a first. The first guest to make a second appearance. Yeah, man, absolutely crazy. But basically, we released a song recently under the name Scrimmage, all about baristas and making coffees and a lot of really fucked shit, to be honest with you.
And getting the evils.
Getting the evils out and all that sort of thing. Called Scrimmage. And so what I thought we'd do for today is, since I've got Sam here, we'd have a bit of a chat and a bit of a reflection, go back over the idea of this scrimmage idea that's actually, which turned into a very niche idea, which then turned into something that was actually like, oh, wow, we could actually kind of do this and the timing seems right. So, let's just see how it all goes and whatever. But this is actually release day, even though this podcast will be coming out in maybe 5 days after release. But it came out for me last night. And for you, Sam, I think it came out this morning because obviously we're in differing countries now, which is very strange. But even so.
Very strange.
Yeah. Because it's it's nighttime over there for you right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 5:30, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, I've got 9.
Yeah, bang on.
On. Nice. Yeah, I was 9, about 9. So yeah. But no. So I think we'll dive into this past idea. I think it all sort of came to a head around Unify 2020. I think it was that we sort of came up with this thing. We were both going to a music festival in Darwin, Lower Victoria called Unify Heavy Metal Gathering. And we were driving there. Oh, that's around the time of the bushfires, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh. We were driving into the smoke.
Yeah. Oh, that was insane.
Just before COVID as well, just snuck in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was so weird because, wow, it just looked so... It looked like fucking Armageddon, in my opinion. Just the entire of Melbourne was just covered in smoke and you couldn't even see anything, even in the major city and stuff. That was oh man, that's bringing back the memories right now. But no, we were going to a festival and we were volunteering there because we both couldn't afford tickets to go outright. So I think we just went there to volunteer because I think we volunteered for 2 days, around 5 or 8 hours or something. And then...
Yeah, I think we got there a day early as well, hey?
Yeah, we did, yeah, because we stayed with one of your friends.
Prior to the festival.
Because I think we left on the Monday and we stayed with your friend on the Monday night. And Tuesday we arrived and we worked that day. We worked Wednesday. And then Thursday was the first day of the festival. And then we got into it. And that was you weren't drinking that week, that weekend either, which was actually really cool.
Yeah. I always do a bit of that.
Yeah. I remember being very, very impressed that you had the whole weekend without doing it, especially with the bands and all this, the festival vibe and stuff. That was still so impressive, man. I went to download just the other week, the other day, and I had the same sort of impression of, I won't drink. And then on the first day, I was like, oh, I want a beer.
It looked pretty warm over there.
It's so warm. It's so hot, man.
Beer weather.
4 straight days of just 25 degrees sun with no cloud. So it was pretty much like any festival that you have. Any festival in Adelaide in January is pretty much what the vibe was. So you have to...
like perfect weather by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it was nuts. Perfect weather. Everyone was sunburnt by the first day. It was crazy, man. I saw people literally walking around with no shirts on who were literally bright red, who couldn't even put a shirt on. Like, it was fucked. But anyway, divulging a bit. But but yeah, so that we did that, and then so we volunteered the first 2 days there, and so we were doing various things like putting caps on poles and scrimming.
Important stuff. The Lord's work.
Doing that. I think I made some signs, which was probably one of the highlights for me. I wrote some signs and put them up on the big the big poles and shit to tell people where to go, like this way to the venue and the lighthouse and the bathrooms that were probably an abomination.
Beyond that, like we were absolute. Just they took one look at us and they went, "You blokes are bloody useless." Not like immediately took us any buggy privileges just gone.
Yeah,
we'll just keep them together. Yeah. We'll just send them off on the fucking paddock over there.
Yeah.
Build some fences.
Definitely, we were definitely the bunch that the teacher like back in school when the teacher tried to separate the kids who were a bad influence on each other. She'd try to separate them, but eventually they'd come back together. I think that was sort of us in a nutshell over there. But yeah, no, we started doing that, and we did. I don't even know if this is actually this is the thing. I don't know if this is actually what it's called, but the guy who was talking to us told us it was called scrimming. So we were like, okay, this is called scrimming, obviously. But basically, that's when you get like that. I think it's called. I literally think it's called scrim. Like the black see-through sort of like material, and you basically just attach it to fencing, and it just becomes like a big barrier to block things off or to hang posters from and all that sort of thing. And so basically, we were just doing that for the whole time that we were volunteering after the caps on poles thing and all the rest of it. So. And yeah, we just obviously classic. I think it was very, very similar to Download, like very hot. We all had the high vis on, the big hats and shit. A whole lot of sunblock. And we just got bored after a while, and we just sort of started coming up with characters and shit. And this is the time when I especially was very heavily, even though I still am, very heavily into the Auntie Donna podcast. And I think we had both also had a very... we'd also started to really get into the Dollop as well. And their various awesome episodes of things. So we decided I think we just sort of made some random wacky characters together to pass the time as we were trying to scrim to the best of our abilities. And I think, the K-Ti, which was yours, short for cable tie, because you were in charge of the cable cable ties. You couldn't... I don't know, man. I can never get them around the right way. I can never, just whenever I would put a cable tie on, it'd be upside down, or it wouldn't work, or I wouldn't put it in far enough, or I would put it too far and then I'd have to fucking cut it off. But, And
then old mate Tension over here, my counterpart.
Yes.
He it'd be blowing a fucking gale on that hill, man. and I would be going, I can't hold it. But thankfully. Thankfully, we had Tension on the job, and he was able to pull it forward with his giant forearms. get the tension required for the cable tie to do his job.
Put it all forward,
mate. We got those fences up.
Yeah, we
took
did.
us maybe 3 times the
The best thing I remember that is I think literally pretty much the end of the stint that we were doing it, because it was, for some reason, it was just so fucking windy. I think that's because it was pushing the wind away. That's why everyone thought we were going to get covered in bushfires and shit, because it was so windy. And in the end, the majority of our scrimming all just fucking came off and started flapping away in the wind.
Forgot about that. I forgot about it. Even like just literally 90% of the work we did to get these free tickets.
It was all in vain.
It was just like a waste of time. Yeah, I think they had to bring in like an emergency scrim thing.
Oh god, this is the best. I think the best thing about that I can remember because on the Thursday the festival typically begins on the Thursday. They have like the pre-show and shit. So on the Wednesday night you get kicked out of the staff campsite, and so you have to go and put your tent in the site where everybody else is going to go. But the best thing about this was that there was no one else in that site yet because no one else had arrived, and the fence was right next door to that separated the staff from the regulars, I'll call them. And so we both decided, well, I'm not going to put the tent up and put it in the car. We'll just throw it over the fence. So, we both threw our tents over the fence, landed upside down.
And then I remember after that I had the genius idea that like, oh man, it's going to be busy on the way out. We want to park the closest to the exit gate. We want to park as far away from the campsite as possible. And not like, I didn't actually consider that we had to fucking lug an esky and all our gear, like 19 Ks. And like, people distributed pretty quickly, and I think we fezzed out like and just hung around the morning a bit.
We did.
Like, if you try and go crack of dawn, you're not getting out of there.
Nah,
like,
definitely not.
Yeah.
Nah, we did that. I remember it got toward like after we'd tossed the tents over. I didn't drive because I was scared that I was doing the wrong thing, but you took the car and we drove through the field of where all the because we wanted to put all our stuff down, and then we would go park the car miles away. And I think it was it my car? I think it was my car that we used.
Yeah, it was.
And then so you got behind the wheel and we were driving through the field of where everyone would be camping. And because there was no one there, it was just an empty field. But there were so many just holes and just lumps of hill in the ground from just past, corrosion and shit. And so Sam's just fucking pegging the car through that field, just like, shit. I'm just like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? And we got all the stuff there and we set up. But as I was going to say, the best thing I remember about that is on the Thursday, because obviously we'd finished, so we didn't have to do any more work. But then as the festival was going on, I remember sitting on the camp chairs at the front with a beer, just like getting ready for it all, and just watching all of our work just break with the wind just picking it up, and all these people running who were now working to go and fix it, and we're just sitting there like, yep.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
We did that.
Wasn't there like a massive storm as well? Was that the storm year?
No, I think that was 18, but there was just a lot of wind, I think, that year. There was just a lot of wind. Yeah. And so it just picked up and just destroyed everything that we did. It was just, it was just incredibly crazy. But yeah, that's sort of like, the scrimmage, K-Ti attention, all that came from that.
That's where it comes from.
All that came from that.
Origins.
That's the origin story of the scrimmage. And then I think going on from that, the whole band idea, I think I may be wrong about this, but the whole band idea I think stemmed from the Paper Sunsets running joke that everybody was kicking everyone out of the band, and that we would then go and do new bands. And because I was the one that always got kicked out of the band,
yeah, I just for some reason started running with that joke, and I took it upon myself to make a band with every member. Yeah, Matt and I have a band that doesn't exist called Puttanesca, because we love pasta.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Puttanesca. I remember that. Yeah,
I think Nick and I had one called Dad Bods.
Yep.
It's gonna be just AC/DC cover band.
And there is one like that. I'll have to show you that band after. So there's a band like that I know of that's really good. Northcom. And then I think I can't remember I think ours was Scrimmage. I know that much. Yours and Tosh's was also very niche. I can't remember it because it was between you two.
I can't either.
But it was something very, very niche, but it was good. But yeah, and then I don't even know where LATTE even really came from. I think it was I sort of just put it down to the fact that when we were volunteering, there was a coffee van in the Unify thing, and I had only just started to figure out like, oat milk and almond milk and soy milk. And so every time we went to that coffee van, I would get a different concoction of like a latte with soy or oat or almond, and you would just get the same long black every time. I think you paid for most of them because I paid for the fuel on the way over, I think it was, but something of that nature or whatever. But like, yeah, I think that's sort of where it kind of stems from. But like, even so, I think and then we had one practice. I think it was one time where we went to your house and we played it.
I think it was supposed to be a Paper Sunsets like jam.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then like everybody just bailed and you were like, oh, I guess I'm here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We just started just fucking around.
Yeah. And then we just started like, I think that's where latte came from. I'm not exactly 100% sure. But then, we just literally started just like, you want to have a scrimmage jam? Like, yeah, fuck it. And so like you got on the drums and I just had the bass and we just started just fucking doing dumb shit.
Making noise
and just literally yelling latte at each other. And I think that's literally all that we had.
I think in terms of like, bringing it truly into fruition, you took the reins a bit. Like it was when we were working at old Delaware, and we were both going through the same evil at different moments. We'd be, ruminating on it and just bloody customers. And you like, with your experience in Kazaran, you had like developed it. You like were very in that mindset at that point in time where you were like, I can write songs, like because like I don't know, prior to that you hadn't really explored that part of yourself, and then you were just like, I can write songs. I'm just going to write songs all the time.
Yeah. This song was literally this is why this song is one of the most important songs I ever wrote, because it was really the first one that I actually wrote as a song. Like, because every Kazran song that we had, Travis would write, give to me, and then I would just write my vocals and whatever. But this was the first song where I was like, I'll try and write this as an entire song. The funniest thing about that was that I had moved out at this point, and I had sold all my instruments. So I had no instruments to actually record this with. So I thank my good friend Ben Batty, who's also appeared on this podcast, for lending me his bass guitar. And also our good friend Matt Ryan, who also lent me his guitar for recording with as well. And like that whole, it was such a cool cross of the fact that we had this really weird niche idea, and then we both just found ourselves working as baristas for two different places that were basically next to each other. And that we were both just going through like just the same dumb shit every day of just like, just people not knowing what they're doing, people ordering coffees and just like leaving. and it's just like different things to the point where it's like, let's just like, let's just write a song about this. And so, I'm very like chuffed that this actually was able to work out and we got to write that song. I mean, it was the worst demo that you ever hear in your life. Like, one of the bravest things I ever did in my life is show that demo to Jack Hartley and Rory Amoy. Because there was no click track, man. I didn't know how to put a click track on, so it was just like, it was just so amateur before even amateur, just terrible. But it had within the construct was an idea, and we were able to formulate that idea enough to turn it into something quite funny. So I do appreciate and thank Jack Hartley for helping me out in actually making that into something with the demo that I had thrown together.
Yeah, he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it.
No fucking experience whatsoever. Just proves that you can do anything without experience, but make sure you work with someone who actually knows what they're doing.
But also, like, on your back, just be shit and just do it.
Yeah, just
like, I think I'm terrible at it. I get, that creative paralysis where I'm just like, I should do something. I should write a song, and I'm just like, but it will be bad.
And then like, you just don't do it.
Then you don't do it. You procrastinate.
Yeah.
You were just like, nah.
It's the worst.
This is something. Like, it's shit, but it's something.
Yeah. And we'll try and bring that
out.
And
now it is something.
Now it is something. Somehow it is now something. I'm very happy about that. Yeah. And that was pretty much basically how it all sort of threw away. But like, And the video, I think recording the video was probably one of my favorite things that I've ever done with you personally. Like, we've done a lot of things together through bands in the 9 years, or now 10 years actually, in the 10 years that we've worked together. I think probably 11 to 12 that we've known each other for. But this was
I don't even know.
Yeah, definitely probably one of the best things that I've ever done. And fun times, just, just everything. Even like just going into Savers and just scouting costumes. It's just like
the worst possible thing we can buy.
Yeah, just like what can we possibly do? What can we find? And everything was just, like, nothing in my opinion was off limits. Like, we could have literally just worn anything we wanted to wear, and just used any prop that we wanted to use. I definitely spent much more money than I expected I was going to spend, but in the end, we got plenty of stuff. So that was fun. And Savers is always quite a fun trip, because you never know what you're going to find, or, what kind of people you're going to spot in there either, which is quite, fun. I think there was a guy who had an argument with one of the staff on that day that we went in, who didn't have a shirt on, possibly. Maybe he was looking for another shirt to buy, but...
Yeah, I remember that. We're just there like, okay. We're just looking like complete fools.
Everyone's just looking super uncomfortable. but people got to deal with that shit every day. But for the video, I was able to, again, I mean, I owe this to basically every other person besides myself, but I was able to borrow some GoPros from my guitarist and good friend Travis, which was very nice of him to lend me. And yeah, we basically just, I mean, it almost didn't actually happen, because it was getting very close to when I was leaving to go overseas, or to come here. And I remember it was about a week and a half delayed in the end, because we were going to do it on one day, and then it got moved because something went on, or something just clashed. And yeah, then we went the week after, and it was literally like about a week, I think, until I left that we did it. So, and we had to do it in the day. Like, we had to sort of, I planned 2 days, but we did it in a day, which is just so impressive. So impressive. But even so,
like, props to you on the like editing end, because like I didn't do any of that, and like that would have been a bit of a nightmare.
That wasn't because
like we shot so much footage. Like, we got like the standard, like, all right, we'll get a take of us on me on the drums, you playing some guitar, and then we're like, all right, that's something. Okay, maybe another angle, and then just how quickly it went from like really logistical stuff to like, hey man, do you reckon if you like jumped over that bush and yelled latte, that'd be good?
Yeah. Just the ideas.
Or like the shed and the chair. Like, it just descended into fucking chaos so quickly.
All the ideas just sort of popped into the brain at once, to be like, every time we go into this shed, we'll just be wearing another ridiculous costume, or we'll just do some other silly concept. Or what if we have a running joke where this blue chair just keeps popping up everywhere and you just get frustrated, kick it over?
So stupid. And but yeah, just like, I guess because there wasn't like a super coherent plan, it was kind of just like capture some footage and see what happens. Yeah. So we just we got more comfortable as the day went on, and just started doing stupider and stupider shit.
Yeah, no, it was one of those weird, especially when it came to just like fucking editing it as well, because I remember I had a day where I first started doing it and I smashed. I was like, I did maybe up to the second, I think I did up to the second chorus. Like, I did literally the intro, the first chorus, and then the second verse up to that middle chorus. And then I just did not touch it for like 3 weeks. Because I went up to it to try and do it one day, and I had like a massive block, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know what to put now. It's so stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. And I didn't touch it for like 3 weeks, and I was like, oh shit. And then as soon as we planned,
and you moved overseas, so
yeah. Well, I started editing it when I was over here, and then literally when we did when we had the date of when it was going to come out, I was like, all right, now I know I have to finish it now. And then I got it finished, and it was fine. Like, there was just a period where I just hated it and I didn't want to touch it. But I think that's all part of a lot of creative processes that go into video editing and music making. Is a lot of times you're just like, man, I don't want to keep fucking doing this. But then it's like, no, you do. You just need to have a break for a bit and step back. But it was such a fun time and such a fun video to make, and it's cool that it's out for everyone to listen to and everyone to take in their stride, however they wish to.
Yeah, get it on repeat, guys. Get it on repeat.
It's only 2 minutes long.
It's only 2 minutes 18.
2 minutes 18 long. The shortest song we've ever written. That's fuck.
But like we packed a surprisingly big amount into it.
I know. It's
like
so
there's just so
crazy.
much happening. Like you don't get all of it in one listen. You got to listen to it at least.
You got to listen to every word, every little bit that goes into it. You got to watch the video and rewatch it and watch all the little niche spots and little pranks and shit that we formulated into the thing as well. Like, there's just a lot that you've got to listen to. There's a lot you got to put into it, but no, it's so cool that it's out. And
you got to make a lyric video next, Caden.
A lyric. Oh god,
you got to make it.
I got to actually. That's one thing I haven't done. I haven't actually written the lyrics down yet, so I have to sort of remember the lyrics and sort of go through them all. But there's so fucking many lyrics in that thing too, isn't there? But oh god, even so, no, I think that's pretty much like the story of the scrimmage and the works. It's I don't know if there'll ever be anything else that we'll do with scrimmage. There might be. I don't know. My brain has sort of thought of a few little bits and pieces, but at the moment, it's just nice for what it is. I think it's really nice just to have a song that was just never really supposed to be anything besides an idea that's now just, out there from the fact of just, if you come up with an idea, no matter how fucking dumb and stupid it is or how ridiculous it seems, anything can be done. It can just be formulated and put out there. So it's quite fulfilling in a way that it's able to be done in that sense. So no, it's been really, really cool. I don't know if there's anything else we can talk about with scrimmage, because I think that's pretty much about it, eh?
Yeah, like we did the backstory. We did the journey. We did I guess we could talk more about the evil or some of the lyrics. Or
Actually, that sounds like a good idea. Right, okay, we'll touch into the real nichenesses of it, especially lyrics-wise. I mean, the demo was. I mean, the song came out quite differently than what the demo actually was. The demo had more of a shouting element throughout the entire song, so I had to rewrite a few little bits and pieces. But a lot of the songs and a lot of the lyrics and stuff sort of just came to me really quick. But it was obviously from both of our experiences. Like, the taking 45 minutes came completely from you, from the stories.
Well, like that
you would tell me.
I definitely, the more frustrated I got throughout my shift, the lower the threshold, man. And I just got into this habit where when someone would ask me so how long is that going to be? Like, they might have even been polite. I don't know, but I would just whatever I thought it would be. Like, I'm literally making their coffee, and I'd be like, 10 minutes. And then they'd be like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "No." Give them their coffee. Well, I would just drastically 30 minutes. I've got a flight to catch. So does everybody, buddy.
Yeah. Yes. So that's another context that we definitely should have touched on. So we did work at a place called Delaware North in Adelaide Airport. So airport people are very different to regular people. They don't know a lot about anything, and they are very scattered.
They all become stupid.
They're very scattered at all times. They can't recognize things that the normal human being can recognize. If you are a person who goes to an airport, please try your best to be human and, just not lose your basic human capabilities, as a lot of people tend to do when they go and fly away. You're not you might be in a new country or you might be in a new state or something, but most coffee shops are the same. Most of them run the same kind of way. They're not too foreign or different than how they usually run. So, but
any food business ever.
Exactly.
If you see a lineup. Yeah. Or a massive horde of people. Don't roll up, you got 5 minutes to your flight boards, or I can get a coffee quickly, it'll be fine.
No one else is waiting for
and then expect to get it in 1 minute. Exactly. Is there a coffee there for Steve? Yeah, there is. And there's another Steve, and there's a fourth Steve. Oh, and you're number 5, sorry. So that'll be 45 minutes.
You're Steve number 5. But yeah. It really does blow the mind when, people walk into your restaurant and they ask you if you do food, and they walk straight past the kitchen where the food is made, and they walk past the 27 menus all placed out on the tables. They walk past the menu on the board behind us that says, like, fucking special of the day and all that sort of shit. But it blows my bloody mind as well as that. But it's something that hospitality people can really sort of click in together and be like, yes, this also frustrates me.
Like, one thing I will say is that we did work stupid hours. We were both starting at 4 for the majority of our sort of working together. And like, I don't know, we're a little bit short. They're extra stupid. It's a bad combination.
Yeah.
It was a tough place to work, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you were definitely working more 4 a.m.s than I was, but I remember there was a stint where we got asked to work 4 a.m. and me and my co-worker Jean were completely up in arms. Jean is Scottish, by the way. She's a lovely Scottish lady and probably still my favourite co-worker to this day. And we were up in arms about the fact that because we worked in a bar primarily that served beer and coffee second. And so most people would go to a bar for beer, but we don't serve beer until 6 a.m. So if we were opening at 4, we can't serve what we would actually prefer to serve for another 2 hours. So really, we're not doing much work. We're just sitting there at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, that whole thing was so stupid.
Oh, this is so crazy.
Did they do that for 2 weeks? And they were like, yeah, this was a bad idea. We were like, we've been telling you this whole time.
Like, when you start work at 4 a.m., like 8 hours sleep is just non-existent. It's like if you fall asleep at 7 o'clock,
it's not possible.
No, unless you fall asleep at like 7 o'clock at night, or like go to bed at the time that like a 10-year-old goes to bed at, maybe you'll get 8 hours. But like that's very dependent on like if you can actually fall asleep at that time. But yeah, it was just like so crazy. And then like the evil lyric is it's probably my favorite things that we've ever I think it was probably, I can't remember if it was you or me, but that we ever sort of came up with was the fact that every hospitality worker, every barista, every barman, everyone, they all have this little door of evil, and which should remain shut at all times, because obviously you don't want to be rude or nasty to people. Like no one does. But every now and then, you get the customers who are a little bit like, and it sort of tests that door of evil. And sometimes the door of evil opens up and a bit comes out. You try and shut it really quickly so that you keep it in. But sometimes the evil has a tendency to come out. And when you start work at 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning and you're dealing with airport people, the door tends to come up in quite a bit, and you try and shut it as quickly as you can. But sometimes you can't. The evil comes out in a bit of a full-blown rage, and it becomes like fireworks.
I told my boss to get fucked. I told another manager I didn't like to get fucked. And like, look, I liked them enough. They were nice enough people, but like, they would just say something that was stupid at the wrong time. And I can hold it in for the customers, for the most part, but then you come along. The door is open, mate.
Yeah,
you've decided to come in the back door and see how I'm going. You can
and the front door is on fire, like literally on fire. And that's what was so cool about, I guess, like the switching from the punk vibe of the start of the song, switching into like the heavy metal element near the end, because the door of evil opens up and the heavy metal comes out and the screams and the yells and shit sort of comes into it. I guess that's sort of how the metaphor of the song kind of works, is like, it starts off as a nice happy-go-lucky tune, and as it goes, you start to get more and more frustrated until the door of evil opens up and all hell breaks loose and you're going off at everybody.
That's so true. Like, this is a bit of a tangent, but like another part of the creative process at the very end was just sort of production, and we were like, we should add some sounds in. We should add some coffee sounds in, and then just going through YouTube and just finding the most stupid coffee grinder. That like, if you listen carefully, you gotta go listen to the song. But if you listen carefully, it kind of sounds like a pig scream. It's actually a grinder.
It's a very
coffee grinder.
Thrown together with Sam's yell and my scream. And it's just it's fucking crazy.
Oh man.
But and the best, I mean, we're nearly out of time because of Girl Zoom, but I think one of the really cool ones about the one really cool recurring thing that we put in the video that I actually found hilarious was the fact of the blue chair, of Sam and the blue chair constantly at war. And I think the main reason why I like it so much is because it sort of paints a picture of the time that you kicked over the bin at work. And obviously we had a bin, but it just looked better when you kicked the chair over rather than it being for a bin. But like, that was I love that because that just made it real. It made it real for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the evil came out that day. Like, we got slammed out of nowhere, and just it kind of had like the newbie team on, and it was like, I think she meant well, but she was kind of like, oh, this person says their coffee's not hot enough. I'm like, in my head, okay, and like, I'm saying I don't care.
Yeah, you don't.
And then like, I don't care. She asked me again, can you sort it out, please? I'm very busy.
Just get the hot water, click it in the hot water. There you go.
Yeah.
Easy.
Like just please, like, look, like, just I don't know. It was just one of those things, and then like it bubbled over, and I was like, nah, fuck off. Just like, it was a gentle flick, but there was a lot of rage in that flick where I just flicked over this coffee that she put near me, and it went everywhere. And then I was like, fuck this, and kicked over a bin. Went to the other side of the airport and got a Boost juice.
Yeah, but the Boost juice people are always there for us in our time of need. Even though their Boost juices cost like $9, but even so.
Yeah.
And there's so much to go into, but yeah, man, I remember when you first told me that story, and even now I'm sort of going back and forth, but I think I was on the floor when you first told me that, because I was just dying.
I think that was like the first like tipping point, because I'm like, I actually quite like hospitality and I quite like people. So it's quite hard to get on my nerves. It's pretty hard. Like I'd say my threshold is probably like a lot, higher than the average person. But like, this job, man, it just wore you down. It wore you down, and then that was my first big outbreak, and then from there it was just downhill, man.
Yeah. It's hard when you start it. You like, when you start going on that sort of descent, you sort of like, no, like I've clicked into it, so now I know. Like now I kind of know how I feel, and when that feeling comes out, I know what's going to happen next, and that sort of thing. But it was rough, man. I said, like, 5 a.m. till 1, you're waking up at fucking 3:30. Well, for you're waking up at like 2:00, especially because we're both, and at the same time, we were both in bands at this point. So, we both had times when we were playing shows at the Cranker or whatever. And then so we would literally play a show, go home, wake up like 2 hours later, and then go straight to work at the airport.
Oh man, that fucks me so much.
Yeah, I remember I think I did that about 3 times, but you have done that at least 4 or 5, maybe even 6.
Yeah, by the end I was just like, fuck this, and I was booked the day off because it just wasn't worth it.
Exactly.
But anyway, like, I don't know, shout out to the song. Listen to the song, find it on all your cheeky streaming sites.
Thank you very much
let's put it on repeat.
Put this on repeat, listen to it over and over again. Thank you very much to every single hospitality company that I have worked for the inspiration of this song. Mainly Delaware North.
Yeah.
I appreciate either way. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Scrimcast with myself, Tension, and my counterpart, K-Ti. You can listen to Scrimmage, our little project.
And watch it.
Yeah,
yes. Where's it available, Kate?
YouTube. The YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
On YouTube, listen on Spotify, chuck it on repeat, throw it to your friends. Help a barista in need. Support a barista in need. Show them the song. Help them get through the day. Thank you very Thank you so much for tuning in to the episode this week. Latte is out now for you to listen to wherever you stream, as well as to watch on YouTube. So give it a view, show your friends and your barista friends, as we count on them for our morning caffeine needs. As well as that, this podcast is available for you to watch. What? Yes, I'm for true. Head to This Is Chasm on YouTube, and happy viewing to you. Tune in next week for a brand new episode with a new guest here on Chasm Converses.